This video is gonna be an update on my life. I guess I will share the easiest part of my news first. I got engaged. My now fiance Chris has only appeared on this channel like once or twice, but we have been dating for almost 9 years now, and we met in high school, and on Christmas morning he asked me to marry him, and I obviously said yes. He got this ring from a local jeweler, which I was really impressed by. I really want to support local businesses and all that. It's gorgeous. I'll do a cutaway if you want to see it. It's very simple and minimal, and I'm definitely the type of person for this ring. Like, I'm not into like the extravagant jewelry. That's definitely not my thing. Exciting news, and also some other exciting news. In the second part of this update, I kind of want to explain how I feel, but it's kind of difficult to put into words because I'm still in the early, very early stages of trying to like piece it together, but I know for sure that I feel comfortable with this. Firstly, I want to say that I came out as asexual a year or two ago. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on this channel or in a video or anything like that. And I'm not sure other people who watch know that I'm asexual, but I am asexual, and I definitely fit in with this identity. I've felt this way for a more than a couple of years, and I felt this term has defined me. Secondly though, as of a few months ago, I began to think a lot about other aspects of my identity, like my gender. From what I can gather from like how I feel and how I kind of express myself and stuff like that, I identify with being non-binary or maybe by gender. NB is a shortening of non-binary, which is also a term I feel suits me. The short version of my identity journey is that I started looking at this more in depth about a few months ago or so. And like looking back on like memories and stuff in my life. As of now, I don't really identify much with like feminine associated words like miss or ma'am or girl or lady or even woman. It often makes me feel very uncomfortable to be even referred as such, which is often a strange feeling to describe because I've grown up as a girl and after that as a woman for so long, and it's hard to feel and explain how I feel like I don't take comfort in those terms anymore. And that's not to say that I feel more comfortable being called like more male gendered terms like man, boy, mister. I don't really feel really comfortable with those terms either, but it often confuses me and makes me feel like I'm what really defines me, what describes me if I don't feel comfortable with these terms. So in terms of like what I do like being called, my pronouns are still she, her, but I'm also using they, them, their, just to see how I feel about that. I also don't mind being called like dude, guy, or man, and only in like a slang sort of way low, like hey you look cool or something like that. Yeah, so this is kind of one of the first times I've said it in official capacity. I've definitely shared my like non-binary identity with my close friends and my fiance. It's just I haven't really shared it with too many other people, so if you're seeing this, then hey, I'm NB, I'm non-binary, like, and that's just me, like, but yeah, I just wanted to do a little, like, kind of explainer for people who are unfamiliar with these sorts of terms, like non-binary and bigender. I want to give a little more context, because there's a lot of information out there, but there's also a lot of like misleading information or information that hasn't been updated. So before a lot of research was done, sex and gender were thought to be the same thing, but now like a lot of different sorts of research has been done that gender and sex seem to be more separate ideas. I've definitely gotten some books that really helped me with kind of figuring this whole thing out and learning more and kind of like updating myself on like what all these different terms mean. This book was especially helpful. It's called How to They Them: A Visual Guide to Non-Binary Pronouns and Gender Fluidity by Stuart Getty, illustrated by Brooke Dying. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it puts the sex versus gender thing in a better way than I could ever explain it. They say in this book that sex or sex assigned at birth is perceived obviously at birth in terms of your genitals. So like if you have a vagina, you're a girl, and if you have a penis, you're a boy. But it can be very binary and very like one or the other, girl or boy. But this distinction does not usually take into account like intersex people who could have both genitals, or other people who have like different amount of chromosomes. As I said, gender used to be entirely connected to this idea of sex, but research has changed, so gender is less black and white and binary. It is a fluid spectrum, not necessarily a straight line. Gender, as written by Getty in their book, is the, quote, behavioral, cultural, psychological traits typically associated with one sex, end quote. So in terms of that explanation of sex and gender, I am NB. I don't fit with these terms of boy or girl, and I'm not more than one than I am of the other. In terms of bigender, it's more fluid. Bigender may fit more with me, but I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel more like presenting myself as feminine or female. Other times I want to feel like more androgynous and like non-conforming to any sort of gender. I kind of want to be in this state of my life where people don't know what gender I am, which can sound a little scary to certain people, but I feel like just how I feel about it, and a lot of these identities are different for each person, so it's not like this one or two or three like set definitions for any sort of person. I kind of wanted to share this news with you guys because I don't want to feel uncomfortable with typically more gendered terms. I want people to kind of understand me more on a personal level, and I want to feel accepted, even though I'm still unsure, even filming this now, how people will feel about this. But ultimately, it's my decision to share this information with you, and I'm opening myself up to a lot of things by sharing this information. I just want to say that the stipulation some people have with being non-binary or bigender or whatever is some people may think that it is like a stepping stone to coming out as transgender, but for me, I don't think I'm trans. Trans for me is more like an umbrella term. Like, I may often refer to myself as part of the trans community. I use the word NB, E-N-B-Y, to define myself as non-binary, but some people don't like using that term if they're non-binary. For me, I'm still comfortable with being MB. Some people do consider being non-binary as helpful in discovering their trans identity, but I'm definitely not that person. If anyone has any other respectful questions, ask you to please leave them down in the description box below. It will help me kind of think more on this and kind of define myself a little bit better. Or heck, even ask me about the engagement as well. Before you say anything, we are not planning to get married for about 3 or so years because of the pandemic. I hope you got at least something from this video and the information that I shared with you today. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you in another video. Bye bye!